Hello, long time no see. I do need to update on a few things, more so because I thrifted curtains and we need to get curtain rods, but I've been kind of doing a few things around the house, or I guess my husband did for the most part. Some of the things that I guess I don't really have to show about is we redid all the weather stripping all the way around, so sides and also the top, and then we also got the bottom seal for both the front door and the garage personnel door, and then the big garage door that you drive under, that bottom seal we also had to replace. Not drafty, it is amazing. However, the front door isn't so bad because there's no carpet, but to open up the garage personnel door, it's like you gotta yank on that handle and open it. So one of these days I need to take those doors off the hinges, more so the garage door personnel, and completely steam, get the one layer of, I think it's actually flat paint, but it's a one layer of white paint, and I could scrape it off with my nail, and it's on a metal door, a very easy to clean metal door, and I think that they put flat paint, which is not easy to clean. And if you are a mechanic or you guys have a family that uses their hands a lot and it's dirty and you touch a door a lot, you know how black it can get. I'd rather have the metal door. It is so easy. It's one swipe, clean, brand new looking, versus a flat door you have to scrub and potentially it doesn't even come off. My husband does not know this yet. He is actually at work, and I was sitting there playing The Sims, looking up. Mind you, I'm supposed to be reading for a video that I'm actually currently filming, and I looked up and I really cannot stand, actually my husband and I could never stand the quarter round that they did for like the top molding in this house, and they mainly only did it in the library. I don't know what they were thinking. I kept looking at it and I knew that it was put on after the fact that they painted, because there is gray paint everywhere, just not very meticulous. And then this had all white, and there's also white on the walls. So I got the idea just now to take off all of the quarter round. It doesn't look the best because of all the holes. However, it is a step in the right direction. And now I'm bugging my husband and I'm texting him, we need to start in the library because I feel like it would be an easy room to start it. And also we need to put drywall tape. I don't think they ever used that when they built this makeshift closet, and technically we want to tear it down and move it kind of like the other bedroom to the back wall. That way it looks better. Redo it so it's a different size and it's done correctly. They didn't do a bad job at framing it, but they also cut the outlet, and then there was just no drywall tape or something. It's just straight drywall that you can see is cut, but there's nothing to fix it, and I don't like that look. So we're getting there bit by bit. We have progress made, and I'm honestly so excited about it. So let me show you just kind of what I did at the top. It looks ugly, forewarned, but it does look better, surprisingly, than with it up on the wall. This here is the most exciting thing. Look at it all. It's all in the trash. Let me show you guys the weather stripping. So like I said, it's very rough on the door to open it, but now we have all brand new weather stripping. So nice, so beautiful. And don't mind how dirty the door is because this is the outside of the door, but we have a new seal down at the bottom. This is a good example because the door is dirty in this spot. This is metal. Here's, you can kind of hear the paint. You can kind of see it. One little layer, then metal, right? All right, hopefully this actually cooperates with me. So this is just a little rag with water. One swipe, and it's pretty much gone. Oh, look at how easy that was. Let me find, like, oh, even down here. See how that didn't get taken off with that paint? Because there's paint all around the door handle. I hate that. And look, there's no gap. Looks so good. This one's a lot easier to open. Look at how nice that weather stripping is. Look at that seal. So nice. This door needs a lot of work. One day I want to take off this door handle. Actually, we need to replace this technically, but I don't know what they put on here, if it's the same black that's all over the house. But they also painted the knocker, and I'm sure this is brass. So I'd like to try and get that off, and also all of the paint on the window. Try and get that clear. That's my little update for today. I'm gonna see how long, if my son does not tell my husband, how long it takes him to see that. He hasn't really been coming in the library because by the time he gets home after working so long, he pretty much just eats and then goes to bed. I'm hoping I can get him to put up this curtain rod for me, and then he will come in here and it will be very noticeable, and he'll kind of talk about it because I'm just excited. I want to fix everything in this house. I'm to the point. We've been in here a year and we fixed some things that needed to be fixed, and we still have the downstairs door to fix, but for the most part now we can start working on more cosmetics because we fixed the only few things that were more not structurally but just like the plumbing that we had in the tub. We don't even use our jacuzzi corner tub anymore because the piping, the plumbing of that is not good. We have a shower, an actual shower bath combo that we got from somebody, so it's fiberglass, and if it actually fits, which so far we think when we measured it was correct, it will go up right there, and that's where we want our shower and our tub combo because I don't like cleaning both a tub and a shower. Also, that bathroom is huge and we could have a double vanity if we got rid of the standing shower and combined the actual location of the bathtub with a shower. We definitely need to fix our son's bathroom. I feel like that one won't be too bad. We just need to get a new, potentially a whole new shower unit, but honestly that shower and bath probably really good. Maybe replace the rubber seals because they're a little moldy for where like a wash rag holder is, but definitely fix the spout and a little bit of the plumbing probably there as well, because the spout leaks and it's been leaking for many years because the drain is actually eroded away, so you can tell how long it's been leaking. And then of course fix out his vanity, change out both of the toilets, and then the only other thing that I can really think of that's really necessary is just paint across the whole house, fix some of the trim, but we're still waiting on hardwood floors, so we can't really put trim down in a lot of the places, or we'd have to pull up the carpet and potentially put it down, which I don't know if I really want to do that per se. So we might wait on a lot of the trim. We might just have no trim on the walls or around the doors, but definitely around the windows we can do trim there. So little by little we are getting it, and I'm going to be making a vlog, and I am so excited if we are going to be painting in this episode or in this video, and I just want to see more changes in this house. We are getting to the point where I just want to see how this house could look. I think kind of what they did to get the house ready for on the market, they should have never done. In my personal opinion, I think it would have looked better before they put the same color on all the walls, new trim in places, or just painted the trim. But I don't want anybody, if they ever happen to see this, I don't want them to take offense, because I mean nothing wrong. Everybody has their own opinions and their own lifestyle, and also the way that they like to live. Josh and I are just very different people. We are very much more of the craftsman style, or like we're a little bit more meticulous, and also I'm just really clean, and so we work together in that aspect. I also like my color in my house, but not like a vivid primary color type, more of a muted but bright at the same time. Well, bright in this house because there's not too many windows except for the 2 end rooms. Either way, this house has been through a lot in the last 20 years regarding storms, weather, floods, etc. Not so much floods, but just weather in general, and this house hopefully should last for another 60+ years. And with the right people living in it, it can definitely last for that long. Houses only last as long as you can take care of them, and that is a really sad thing to think about. Hello everybody, it's a new day, and I feel like I need to record in here real quick, kind of give a little update, and then go outside and show you guys a few things. So for a while we have been kind of trying to tackle the back steps for the basement. More so, Josh has used a pickaxe and a sledgehammer to try and break a couple of the steps, and just also that landing, because of how they built it, it's just taller than the actual entrance to the basement. So if we got too much rain and that drain couldn't drain properly, like if it got covered by leaves, then it would go into our basement right there at the door. Not like flooding our basement, but just having like a puddle or a couple big puddles, and I don't like that. I don't want water in my basement. So currently right now he's outside. We bought a jackhammer from Harbor Freight. It's a better one than originally we were gonna look at, because it was like an open box deal, so we did spend a little bit more money, but it came with so many amazing things, all the chisel tips that we needed, and I'm just so excited about this, and I feel like it's so much easier for my husband to use. So let me go ahead, go outside and show you guys what's been happening. So yeah, I hope you guys could see that little angle. The drain is here. It's pretty much equal with the door, the threshold. And then for some reason, it goes like this. It slopes up in that back corner. I don't know why it was like that, but we did find out too, or Josh found out actually, underneath the concrete steps that weren't made really well, and they're sloping towards the house, so all the water goes down. And we have a top ramp at the top, so keep that in mind. The underneath those steps though, there's another concrete ramp. If it was a wheelchair accessible house, okay, I understand, but at the same time, why to the basement? Why not make just steps and you just go back? You know, you don't need a ramp, especially when it's gonna be water issue. I don't know. There's some things that we aren't really positive about why some things were done in this house. And they're not like really bad things. It's just like not our forte, let's just say. One last haul for the night. Josh is going with our son to go dump that last little bit of a load. We did, I think Josh actually took out 2 or 3 steps tonight. I don't know, to be honest. And now I'm gonna have to go inside, make some pizzas, or heat up some pizzas from Aldi's. And then we're gonna go eat, maybe watch a Jason Statham movie. But let me show you guys what we're working with. And then you can see the ramp a little bit more. I'm ready to go inside, I'm not gonna lie. My back is killing me from lugging up. We had a 5-gallon bucket and we fill it with a bunch of rocks. And that was the problem. It's the ramp. Trying not to slide down this stupid ramp and trying not to faceplant while you have this heavy like 60+ pound bucket, and then putting it just somewhere so it'll be stabilized, and then trying to get all the way up and then having to pick it up. And I pick things up with my back, and yeah, that's just how I am. So let me show you what we're working with. So you can see where the steps were. This is a ramp. Yay. We have where I guess it originally, because this is like the last step, we have this little section, and then this is the original, because if you have never seen before, it's a ramp. 2 steps, which was okay if they would have been done great, but they weren't done correctly, and it was really bugging us, especially with the water and stuff. And then you have, I guess this is the original ramp, then they added steps, but here it goes. Let me go down there and show you guys that angle. I have to be very, very careful, because I don't have tread on these shoes no more. It's actual dirt somewhere down deep in there, so we know that we can bust away this ramp. All right, I don't know, if you can hear me over the tractor, so I'm gonna be just maybe a little bit louder. Hopefully my camera can pick up how exactly it looks, like how steep it is. You can see how they came down and angled because it was a ramp, and then they just made steps and they were angled towards the house, which is kind of dumb, but whatever. It is what it is. We're trying to fix some things, so this is the very expensive, or not so much expensive, just time consuming. Another day, another update on the stairs. All the steps are out. Now we just need to take care of this ramp, and then also, oh, way down there by that drain. Hello everybody. I don't know how long it's been, at least 1 month, if not a couple months, but I am actually going to take more trim off the wall. My husband did find out, I think like 2 days later, because he wasn't really in the library those last couple days, about the top trim piece. Also, I think I kind of updated, but we put a curtain rod up here and we have curtains in here. I bought a second layer for these curtains. These are more like gray. I thrifted them. They're blackout ones, and I think they're Threshold brand, and I like the color of them. I bought some like sheer curtains to go underneath. Let me update you guys though on what happened last night. So last night I did take down this trim because I asked my husband and he said, sure, I don't even care anymore. So I took down this side. This side came off a little bit easier than this side. This came off really bad, like right here, and there's one right here, and then one down over here somewhere. And of course with the paint, it just kind of peeled it weird. I still have to take off this one, technically on this wall, one by this door. I got those 2 off. And lastly, these 2, because there's nothing on this side. And then in the laundry room, I have my son's old set of curtains that he had when we moved into the house. I don't remember where they were at, but we used them in his room. I've been trying to find curtains for him, couldn't really find any. We have this pleated set that is actually from my parents' house, and this is for like a big giant bay window, so this didn't work in our room. I was hoping to use them in our room, but the smaller set I was able to use in his room. So I'll show you guys. I'm gonna wash these, donate these, just get rid of them. Now in his room, this is where the pleated curtains are. I still use my clips, and look at this. Look what happened. I had this curtain rod from, I think, the library, and I reused what they already had because they had a white one in here, and they've officially fallen off the walls. So I just went to Walmart. I just bought a new curtain rod for him, and we're going to fix this, and don't worry about the trim. We're gonna eventually take all this down. But besides like this yellowing and age, look at how cute. They're a little bit bunched up at the ground, but I think once we get the actual curtain rod up, and since it'll be above the window a little bit, they're gonna be just barely kissing the ground. So today, besides grabbing a curtain rod from Walmart and also 2 sheer curtains for the library's window, the other thing I did is I went to Home Depot and I grabbed some drywall mud basically. So we're gonna patch some holes. I'm not gonna really show me actually doing this, but I will kind of update you guys when I take off more trim and then start patching holes. I have a decent update for you guys, if you can't tell behind me with all the yellow. I'm gonna turn you guys around. I swear the words that I want to say so badly because of this top trim. The library had like little quarter round. That was hard to get off, but like easy to get off at the same time. The entire house, every room in this house besides the basement, has what is on the top of these walls, this crown molding, and I literally want to kill myself. It is so hard to get off, and I know we don't have mainly the proper tools, so just getting a crowbar would help a lot. I've been using a hammer, I've been using a pry bar, I've been using a knife to cut the paint. I am so tired of this though. So let me turn you around though with better thoughts and show you what's been going on or how far I got. This is where I'm stopping, like my little guideline for what is the hallway. This is going into the kitchen. Since it's going into the kitchen, and then we have our hutch, it's one whole piece. I'm not really worried about that. However, I do have all of the trim off around the doors and around here, all of it. Even down this hallway, we have it all off. So great, except for the top. This is what I've done. This is the only piece I've gotten off. This is one big giant piece, and then it goes another big piece, and then a small piece. There's a small piece over here. I hate this stuff though. I want to kill myself trying to fix this. Small update, it is the next day. I did get to take down almost all of this top boards up here, and we noticed, I think in this corner, it's probably water damage. That's what I'm gonna go with, and that's what I have been kind of confirmed, but it's a mess up there. I don't really want to zoom in. I'm very embarrassed about that, but it also makes sense because it looks like right here was replaced, and also it wasn't necessarily long enough, so there's this big giant crack here. A lot of messed up spots with the drywall. Very brittle right there. But this roof was replaced I think like 2 years before we moved in, so we don't have to worry about that, but it's just kind of annoying. We're gonna fix that though. This wall might look a little bit crazy, but I went ahead and tried to mud it. Also, sorry, I have music playing and also the dryer is running, but I already went through with sandpaper and kind of sanded it. It's very smooth. It might not look very good, but it's very, very smooth. And then these sections I have yet to actually sand, but some of them are still dry and you can kind of see up there and over here because these were more deep spots. Also, I'm waiting on my husband to come home to remove this one with me and also this one because I do not want to hit this glass chandelier and shatter it. So I'm gonna wait until he gets home so then I can also do all this up here, because up here you can kind of see these swirl marks. I wasn't really sure what these were, and then I realized that it's all over the top, hopefully just in this section of the hallway, but above all three of these doors over here. So they used to have a banner running all the way because there's still some over here as well. I don't know if it'll pick up on camera. You can kind of see it a little bit more so like right there where I already kind of mudded a little bit. As far as I know, I don't see any on this side. So hopefully there is none on this side. Oh baby, we're gonna get started on this weekend for sure with the snow coming. The worst thing right now is we have to do prep for the walls before we can even paint. And that includes like mudding, regular stuff. But also I'm using 2 different putty knives. I know this is maybe not the traditional way you're supposed to use sandpaper, but instead I'm using 2 metal putty knives more so. This one for big areas, this one for small things, to kind of help even the wall because there's a lot of paint runs, there's a lot of just random pieces that I feel like the metal putty knife was working a lot better than sandpaper. So that's step 1. Then we have to clean the walls. Then we have to mud the little spots that need to be mudded, and mainly I'm going by feel. And then on top of that, we have to wait for that to dry. Then we have to sand it. Then we have to clean the wall again, and then we have to paint. Let me kind of show you a couple places where I'm using a small putty knife, or I'm using a putty knife to kind of help skim down the wall. So you see all these rough spots where the drywall's at, or even like over here where some of it is peeling. There's also this line where they painted against the white, and then they had the whiteboards here. So this is where I'm taking like my putty knife and I'm just kind of scraping, and you see all that, and then it just makes it super smooth. Versus this, it's like a ridge. It catches right here. There's nothing there. So much better. We are wiping down the walls so we can get ready to paint. Let me show you guys where we're at right now. Got both of those boards off, mudded, everything looks good. Then we're gonna set up a fan and we have everything pretty much ready. We just have to wipe off these walls. We're only just now wiping off this area. If I do this. The room like everybody but me, I'm so excited. First coat done on almost every single bit of the walls. Don't mind how it kind of looks. However, we are going to skip this little area because we need to patch some stuff here and we don't have the stuff with us now, so we're just gonna hold off. We have 1 official coat done, put up on the walls. Potentially might be also dry, and we might go ahead and start again. Don't mind our son in the background, he's playing with Boogie. Hello, it's a little bit of a new day. I've actually skipped 2 days. Yesterday we didn't work on the house at all. We went outside, played in the snow a little bit, and also my husband had to set up new monitors that he got for his work, or from his work, for if he had to stay home, work at home, etc., which is what I'm gonna kind of get to. I'm gonna kind of update a little bit on the library because we were trying to make it work, having both of our stuff up here, having like a little library game room situation, but with this closet that was homemade and built into this room, it's not very functional when you have so much stuff up here. And especially once I got my little, I'm gonna say like reading chair when Josh's grandmother died, so there's some things about it that we just kind of didn't like, and it wasn't really working. So he did go ahead and move downstairs, which I'm really sad about. So let me show you the update on the library. I feel bad that I have a whole room to myself now. Sorry about any of the dryer noise. So I still have my 2 bookcases here when you first enter because there's not much space here, and it's kind of pointless. It's like wasted space. So that's fine. I would love to have more bookcases. My desk was here. However, I'm keeping the chair there. Don't mind the walls. Work in progress. But then we have my desk. I moved it over here. This is where Josh's desk was, and also his racing sim. But mine fits a little bit better because I have a little less stuff in a way. I have the same amount, but just mine's not as wide. My desk is wider, but this isn't as wide as his racing missing some. And then I don't like this necessarily. This is our Wi-Fi router. But what's really bad is this is the only spot that it's at, the only Ethernet cable hookup right here for our Wi-Fi. And because we have this closet right here that they made, it's really hard to try and find like a little table for the Wi-Fi to sit on since the door opens like this. We will be taking this down eventually, and we won't have a closet in here unless this ends up being a nursery, and then we'll build a closet. But the closet won't go here. It'll probably go on this back wall, so then you have a little bit more usable space, and it'll be a little bit different of a closet. But I think this will look much better when I start to take down this trim and then kind of fix the wall some, and then even just priming it with the gray carpet, it'll look a little cold, but at the same time I think it'll look better than this gray, especially since a lot of this wall is messed up. And I don't know, it's just really a work in progress, and I feel really bad that I now officially have this whole room to myself when I was trying so hard to keep him up here. But it is kind of nice having a lot more space. It's less crowded. Just got back from Home Depot. Meant to kind of record in there, however, we spent almost $500. Let me go show you what we bought. First off, it's a big pile, but we got some tongue and groove boards. These are for the half walls. They were originally going to be pine. They had some packs that you can just put up, more so 8 foot. We were going to cut in half, but these 8 foot boards were cheaper and they look a little less knotty, and they're about the same color as the pine. Also to go for both the baseboards and to top off these half walls. We have these flat boards that are basically pine, and then some caps for the top pieces to kind of make it look better. It'll sit on top, more like this to finish it off, if that makes sense. Then we picked up some more supplies for painting and also disc lights. These were a little bit cheaper, but we were talking about getting rid of some of the chandeliers, and I like these ones more because you can control how warm or how cold. I'd rather have the warm lighting. Then we picked up a 2-pack of saw blades for the saw, and also Josh asked if I wanted this edger for painting. I'm so excited about that. We picked up some more trim nails and finish nails, got this free spout, some stir sticks for my favorite piece. We picked up a gallon of paint, and we had to go with Behr apparently with the paint sample that I used, but we got it actually in this color, macaroon cream. I never came on here and updated last night, but we got one section of the wall done. Not fully though. This top piece is not actually glued down. We were gonna try and glue it with just a couple little nails instead of doing multiple nails across. But this looks so good. I am so excited to do the rest, but it has also been a little bit of a pain in the butt. I don't know whose idea this half wall was. I hate whoever came up with this idea, aka I wanted this so bad. We had a lot of trouble last night with a lot of weird things happening too. And I don't know if it's because we were working from like 10 p.m. to almost 1 a.m. But let's just say we probably should have stopped when we were around here on this first board. We have an update. We still haven't done the top, but we are also probably going to later on add some of this when we get hardwood floors or change out our floors. And then we finished this wall, or more so Josh, and he cut around this outlet, which is really nice. We'll have to get spacers for those. And now we're about to cut these so they're all even. So here's the finished update, at least for now. We got this even in. We just have some ideas for the end. This is basically what it would look like at the end, and then also we've thought about some other things and then staining this, and maybe when we find new hardwood floors or fine hardwood floors, coming out and trying to match this stain with like a test piece. But this looks so much better. This looks so good. It's so hard to get 45-degree angles when the actual wall itself is not straight. I don't know if you guys can kind of start seeing it curve, but it's very wonky. It's so annoying to try and match these, but I think we did a decent job, more so Josh. All right, I know this isn't necessarily a house update, but I am gonna throw this in with the house update vlog because I figured where we just did the half wall, this clock would honestly probably be perfect right there in the entryway. However, this clock did go through the house fire and it stinks. If you know anything about a house fire, if you've been through it, then you understand the smell. And this is all the soot, and this is where the other piece of the clock that goes down here actually sat on it. And then I think this was where my mom cleaned it right here, and then this got ruined right here. So right now I'm using a little bit of Dawn, and thankfully this is wood. It's not actual like paper. So I've been able to kind of scrub a little bit. It's not as clean as the original color, but hopefully I can get it somewhat around there. I've been doing a lot of different test pieces, and so far this is what it looks like. You know how we just did this half wall and we finished it over here? Besides that, I still have to patch and paint eventually. Right here on this wall would be really pretty. And then I have a photo that I thrifted that I figured instead of on this side, we could put on this half wall potentially. Also last night, my husband went through and we took down this chandelier and also this other light. So we do have to paint the ceiling, but we were gonna paint that anyways. We put in these disc lights. Also in the kitchen, we put in this one. I'm actually using it, but we took down this chandelier and we took down the chandelier in the living room. This disc light is perfectly where the chandelier was perfectly in the middle of the whole living room, but where we have our couch set up, it was off centered, but I feel like this one light is good, and this is a lot of light for us. So we're just gonna leave one in there for now, and we have this light, and then eventually maybe we'll get rid of this one. I'm trying to talk my husband into relocating one one over here and maybe getting like a milk glass pendant, but a small pendant because I don't want too much. And I'll try and kind of sell either on Facebook Marketplace or just donate the other chandeliers that we took down. But yeah, hopefully we can get this cleaned up pretty good. And I'm just gonna sit down here, work on this a little bit, and then I will come update you if I'm halfway through or if I get it cleaned up. Update on the clock. I'm super excited about this. We will show you a little bit more later. However, this is the piece that was actually laying on the clock, and this is what it's supposed to look like, but because of the fire, it looks like this. And I have just did a little test spot, so you can kind of see that. But we're gonna work on this, and then I will show you the before and afters. I'm pretty sure this is as good as it's gonna get. This is more of like a cherry wood or so, I don't know exactly, but it is more red tinted. And hold on, I'm standing up, sorry. This clock face, my mom actually tried to clean it, and then I think she uncovered the only spot that was damaged because this does not look like damage from trying to clean it, but you can see where this piece actually sat on here when the fire happened. This is what the clock face is looking like. Some of the green is gone. It might have just been like that from age color. So we have blue, pink, and green. We have the actual numbers, a little bit of damage, but I like it. It is very yellow. I think it's always been kind of yellow with age, but I think this looks so much better. And I think this wood, it's as clean as I can get it. You can kind of see where, I don't know if it's a clear coat, but every time I wipe it clean, it looks really good when it's wet, but when it's dry, it gets really matte and foggy looking. I've tried to clean it, but this is the best I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna actually import the before and after photos so you can see those. I think that this cleaned up so good. I'm so excited, so happy about this, and I just kind of thank God because I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was ruined. So just seeing the before and afters, it really cleaned up really well. Moving into this piece was face down. This is actually what you will see, so that's good because it's nice and shiny. Here's how I got the back cleaned up. It was pretty much pure black, and because this isn't like a polished brass, it's more of like just plain and it's kind of pitted. All of this is just soot inside of that pit marks. That's how that looks. So I couldn't get that clean, but I got it pretty clean considering it was pure black.